Hello, my darling. I hope you are well. Welcome to the second episode of the Mpumaponya podcast. The first episode got a lot of love, and I have full and deep appreciation for all of you. Thank you so very much for all the comments, the questions, the love, the support. I truly and honestly honor you and my relationship with you. Now, what happened after the first episode is that I got a couple of questions from some of the tribe, the self-love tribe. We should get a name for ourselves. Anonymous. So I'm going to read the question to you, and then I am going to give my view, and we'll see wherever spirit leads the conversation. So this friend of mine says, how do you navigate filling your cup? And this comes from what I shared in my first episode about being self-full. So she was like, you know what? I loved it, but also, how do you do that? Being a mom, running a business, being a wife, being a sister, a daughter, how did you get to that point where you are being self-full, or at least being intentional about being self-full? How do you remove yourself from the titles? And how do you just, step into the world as Mpo? How did you do that? How do you deal with mom guilt? Was one of the questions that she asked. And how did you get to this point? Was her question verbatim. So maybe I start with my story. I remember a friend of mine at work, actually, a colleague of mine said to me when, they found out that I was married with kids and a family, they were like, there's nothing about you that says all of that. When someone sees you, they just see Mpo. How do you do that? So it's definitely a question that I've received before. And truly and honestly, I think it is a question of self-worth. And I had to get to a point where I understood and accepted that, even me, I'm worthy. Even me, I matter, Even me, I came with a purpose. And to the extent that I can, maybe I focus on that and let's see what happens, right? Because it is my belief that every single soul that comes onto this earth comes here with a purpose. Be it your 5-year-old, be it your mom, your grandpa, every single breathing human being that is here came with a mission, right? So what happens is that, especially as a mom, you have this beautiful picture of how your son or your daughter is going to turn out. You have this thing of, I didn't get this level of support when I was young, so I'm going to be this type of mom. And it can present in many ways depending on how you grew up. It can present in you being a helicopter mom. It can present in you being all over your child's journey. And I get it, and I've been through it. But it is when I understood that, actually, I am just an enabler, and I am just a supporter. And I remember when I was pregnant with my first son, I read this poem, I think it was, or in a book, and it says something about your child is actually not yours. You are merely a vessel. Let me tell you, that for me set the tone for how I was going to parent. I took that and I ran with it. For me, it was like, you know what? I was merely a vessel. I love you to bits, unconditional love, but also I'm only but a vessel. And so I'm not going to take ownership of your experience in this time-space reality. All I am is an enabler. All I am is a supporter. And so you tell me what support you need. You tell me, it doesn't have to be in words, right? Words don't teach. It's energy really that I think guides how we experience each other. Your child can tell you without using words how they want to be parented. What kind of support do they need? All kids are different. I'm just using kids as an example, but it applies to everybody really. And let me tell you, it becomes such a joy. I mean, my son always says to me, oh my God, you're such a cool mom. How come you're always so happy? And all they ever really want to do with me is sit with me on a couch or play with me, pass, ball, because they enjoy my energy. They just enjoy being around me, my laughter. I dance with them. It's a vibe. Do you understand? And I let them navigate their own lives. They know why they came here. And it is me trusting that they know why they came here. And it has nothing to do with age, my darling. The soul is ageless. The soul is timeless. That is my belief. And so even in this school, I mean, we chat about what's going on at school, and my kids are very emotionally intelligent. Literally the teachers are always saying, oh my God, your child, he's ahead of his age. He's so emotionally intelligent. And so imagine me dealing with a soul that's so emotionally intelligent, and I'm wanting to contain them in a box that I think they should be fitting into. No. And that's what happens, is that the next person becomes frustrated with you, and you don't understand why your wife or your partner, or your sister or your child is so frustrated with you. It's because to a large extent, when we're trying to help people and we become a little bit too much, what we're actually doing is disempowering them. When I found that out, I was like, me being all about empowerment, the last thing I want to do, but I was doing unintentionally, is disempowering the next person. Because I'm like, oh, give me your problem, I'll solve it for you. This is what you're going to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, done. We're good. But in that process, the person hasn't learned anything. I mean, they're happy you solved their problem, but really that problem is going to emerge again because their soul came here to learn that lesson. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying don't ask for help, but what I'm saying, sometimes the lesson is learning how to ask for help. So for me, number one, realizing that as a mom, I'm only here as an enabler and as a vessel. Really, I'm not here to control anyone's journey. And when I got that reminder, I was like, okay, actually, let me try this out. I woke up one day and I said to my kids, you guys are hungry? Go make breakfast. Listen, I think they were about 7 and 4 at the time. And they're like, okay, cool. I came downstairs and let me tell you, Kellogg's was ready. The kids was eating. Everybody was good. And I stood there and I was like, oh, you mean to tell me you could do this all along? And I could get an extra 30 minutes of sleep? Is that what's going on here? Do you understand? And then bit by bit, you learn, oh, actually, people can do things for themselves. I am not the one that's always supposed to be there doing things for other people. And what happens is that you buy back your time and you buy back your energy. And where do you spend it? You spend it on yourself. You reinvest it where it was meant to be, from the onset, to reinvest it in yourself. And magically, when now you are operating in overflow, the people around you, be it family, kids, colleagues, they drink from your overflow. They want to be around you. They want to support you. They want to pour into you because you've taught them what's going to happen here is that they will be pouring into me. And you didn't teach them by telling them, but by doing it yourself, So that's another way of looking at it. And I truly believe it's a question of self-worth. Do you believe that you are worthy of good quality sleep, uninterrupted sleep, for example? Do you actually believe that you are worthy of a non-busy Saturday? Do you believe that you are worthy of money flowing into you without you burning out? Do you believe intrinsically that you also deserve, you deserve better? Do you know what I'm saying? And it is at that point where you're like, I actually buy into this thing. I think I'm worth it. And let me tell you, it sounds easy. A lot of us don't believe that we're worth it. And it stems from different areas. It could stem from how you grew up. It could stem from what you were told. It could stem from how you've been treated in relationships. It could stem from your workplace, how you are paid or how you are treated. But there is something that brought you to a point where you actually believe you're not worth it. And it doesn't present in you giving up on yourself, because it took therapy for me to understand. I remember my therapist said to me, I was explaining all the things I want to do. Oh, I want to heal people. I want to give back. I want to make, have impact. I want to do all these grand things. And she turned around and said to me, why do you dislike yourself so much? And I paused and I was 100% offended, because I was like, excuse me, ma'am, do you know who I am? I'm the most confident person I think I've ever met. I love myself. I think I'm pretty cool, but that's surface level. And I had to pause. And she said to me, don't be in a hurry to answer me. Sit with it. And it was uncomfortable. And I realized, boy, you actually don't like yourself. You are doing so many things for so many people, and you've made your entire purpose about other people. You've made your gifts about other people. You've made your journey about other people, changing the world. All of those things are beautiful, but they are not about me, if that makes sense, right? And I was like, wow, that's so sad. And I took a break from all of that. And I bought myself a pink cup. And I was like, look at you. I don't actually even have a special pink cup in my house that's just for mom. I got myself a cup, and that opened up a connection to my feminine energy that I didn't even know was suppressed, And I started doing little things for myself. And my therapist said, it doesn't have to be grand gestures. You don't have to spend a lot of money to show yourself that you love yourself. When you buy your kids sweets, maybe you buy yourself a little chocolate. If you don't want chocolate, maybe you get yourself a little t-shirt or whatever. Because what you're doing is that you are now reconnecting with your inner child, because your child is looking at you and she's saying, if you're so great, how come you're not even taking care of me? And that's when the guilt comes in. And that's when the shame comes in. Do you understand? So to the extent that you can, my darling, I say, take a little bit of a pause. And I hear a lot of comments from women saying, yeah, we hear what you're saying, but you don't know, where I work, my boss is always on my case. I don't even have time for all of these things that you teach us about. And my response is, wake up 1 hour earlier. I would wake up at 4 at some point. It's not the case now, because my life looks a little bit different now. And that's also what I manifested, because that's what I wanted. Again, a story for another day. I would wake up at 4 to make sure that I do my morning meditation, I do my prayers, I light my candle, I make my tea, I drink my water, I take my probiotics, I make my smoothie. I've got, time to myself. I spend time with my kids. I make lunch boxes, or whatever it is that makes me full, that makes me happy. By the time I walk into the office at 8 o'clock, 8:30, and I say, good morning, everybody, I'm full. I've been awake. Do you know what I mean? So it's really being intentional and making a decision that, do you know what? Even me, I'm worth it. I'm going to put myself first, and accepting that there is nothing wrong with that it is everything right. It is everything you deserve. It is everything you came here to do. You don't come here to fulfill someone else's purpose. You don't come here to have control or controllership over someone else's journey. No. And if you have that understanding that that's actually disempowering them, you get to shift a little bit. You get to step out of the way a little bit. And when you step out the way, surprise, surprise, you now have energy to pour into yourself, right? That's one of the things that I did. Just wake up 1 hour early or 2 hours early, whatever it is, to make sure that me first. Journal your thoughts, because then that starts to bring a sense of emotional detox, mental detox, whatever's troubling you. I firmly believe that the reason that sometimes we're so obsessed with everyone else and being everything to everyone else and listening out to what's happening around us and who did what to who is because we're actually scared to face ourselves in the mirror. We're actually scared to go inside and find out actually what is what with me. And because it's trauma, right? Not all of us had rosy childhoods. In fact, I don't know that anyone has had a rosy childhood. Even people who grew up rich and they had, they had everything. There's always something there that they feel, oh, mom and dad were never around. They gave us everything, but they were never around. They were traveling. Like there's always something that you wish you had when you were growing up. And that little child is still waiting there to be healed, to release that energy. So that's a big part of emotional detox, facing the thing that is eating you up. And sometimes you even forgot about it. That's possible. Sometimes you shove it so deep in your subconscious that it takes you slowing down and meditating and journaling that it starts coming up. And you're like, oh my God, I absolutely forgot about this thing that happened to me 10 years ago. I thought I was over it. That one person that betrayed me, I thought that was gone. No, time has passed, but the thing is still there. So all you do is go back to the thing in a safe space and face it, whether it's mirror work, whether it's in a journal, write out how it made you feel or how it makes you feel. Connect with it. There will be crying, it will be uncomfortable. And then once you've let it all out, fold that paper, burn it outside and really release it with intention and say with your words, I accept the lessons that this thing came to teach me. And don't just say it, actually ask yourself, what lessons did this pain and trauma come to teach me? Because then at least you attach some level of value to the pain that you've had to go through. And once you've done that and you've learned, oh, this person actually came to teach me that I need to pay more attention to myself. This person came to teach me that I need to forgive myself. This person came to teach me that I need to stop looking to everyone to know my worth and to know that I also am valuable. Whatever it is that they came to teach you, write out the lessons they came to teach you. Thank them. It's going to be hard. I've done the work. I know it's uncomfortable. And maybe you're not ready to thank them on day one. So then don't. Go at your own pace. Healing doesn't happen overnight. Healing is not a 6-week program. No. Go at your own pace, but each and every day, do 1% better. Do 1% of action that brings you to that level of closure. And then release it and promise yourself to show yourself more love. I accept the lessons that this situation and this issue came to teach me. I now move forward into the future with clarity, with understanding, and I carry these lessons with me. I cleanse my emotional space and my mental space of this thing, and there we go. You've released it. Another thing or tool or method or technique that helped me is starting a personal love affair with myself. And I'm not going to use the word obsessed, but really a love affair with self before you look into the next person. And a lot of the times, the issues that you have in your relationship with the next person, oh, they're not giving me this, they're not giving me time, quality time, they're not giving me affection, they're not giving me attention, they're not taking me out, they don't tell me I look beautiful, they don't tell me they love me. All of those things, my dearest darling, they don't buy me gifts. All of those things. Those are the things that you start now to do for yourself. That's what it is. You start to do it for yourself. You take yourself out. You tell yourself you love yourself and actually do love yourself. You spend quality time with yourself. You buy yourself a rose. You. And I'm telling you, magically, your partner picks it up. Magically, whoever it is you're looking for that validation from picks it up. And in them picking it up, they will either move out or fall in line. That's what it is, So a lot of the things that you're looking for external or externally, it's things that you start giving to yourself. That's how you fill your cup. And once your cup is full, honey, you are unstoppable. When someone comes at you with a negative energy, you see it from a mile, because you know what negative energy looks like, and you know what you're going to put up with and what you're not. And then we step into the conversation of boundaries. Do you have boundaries? What does the boundary look like? Do you communicate a boundary? Do you act out a boundary? How do you set boundaries that are not, too harsh that it actually pushes people away? How do you set boundaries that are not out of fear, but out of love? Do you understand? So the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is fear. And to the extent that you can, when you're operating from a fearless position, you just fall in love with life. You fall in love with yourself. You fall in love with nature. You fall in love with existing. And that's when you start drawing closer to your purpose. That's when you're like, actually, I've been running around red race, trying to make 100 things happen. Actually, I came here for something singular, or I came here for something so simple. And then you start doing more of that. And initially, it won't look like a purpose. It won't be like, I'm doing this thing because I want to be in alignment with my purpose. You're just going to be doing it because you actually love it. It makes you feel alive. You enjoy doing it. I enjoy speaking. I enjoy motivation. I enjoy uplifting, encouraging. I didn't do it to try and be in purpose. I just love it. It comes naturally. It's who I am. And the more you pour into yourself, the more you spend time with yourself, the more you show yourself love, you fall into the habit of doing things that make you happy. You fall into the habit of doing things you love, or at least making sure that you're happy first before you do something you have to do. Let me say that again. Do something that you love, or at least be in a happy state. Happy is a light word. Be in a state of alignment before you do the thing that you think you have to do. And I'll give you an example. Say you are in a job and you absolutely do not love your job. You're not going to get a better job by, using that energy. You're not going to manifest a better experience for yourself by going at your job with hate. So rather, make sure that you are full first before you go to the office. Make sure that even after work, you do the things that you love. Shift your focus. Energy flows where focus goes. When your focus is around the things that make you happy, and for some people, they're like, I don't actually know what makes me happy. There we go. Pause. Stop. Ask yourself, journal. What did I used to enjoy when I was a kid? What did I used to enjoy when I was a teenager? Do you understand how much work that is? That's a lot of work. And that's why it becomes important to wake up earlier. It becomes important to set out time for yourself, because there's so much you have to work through for yourself, for you to get to a point where you're like, I'm full. Actually, I think I've got a little bit of spare energy to share. Do you know what I mean? But that's a long answer to a short question. If you want a sentence, to answer that, I would say I got to where I am in my journey of pouring into myself because I finally accepted that even me, I'm worth it. I finally accepted my self-worth. And that's on self-love. So that is the end of our episode for today. Make sure that you follow me on Instagram, Mpumaponya Live, on TikTok, Mpumaponya Live. Follow this podcast, leave a comment, leave questions, and let's grow together. Sending you lots of love and light. Mwah.